onto stage. Okay. Happy Friday, everyone. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully we don't have any hitch today. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday, everyone. Please share, invite others to join. Please let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully we don't have any hitch today. Happy Friday, everyone. If you can hear me, please let me know where you're watching me from. Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday. Yes, you can hear me. Yes. Thank God that everything is fixed. Last week was something else. So we thank God that it's fixed. Happy Friday. How are you feeling? How you all doing? How has the week been? Please share so that others would come and join and learn a thing or two. Today we are going to be discussing everybody's favorite, marriage-based green card. Everybody's favorite. I don't know who does not like marriage-based green card. It's actually the one thing everybody can fall on at some point. Please let me know where you're watching me from. Please share. Oh, sound is good. Great. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Hashtag immigrant brave. I want you to type it in the comment section. Hashtag immigrant brave. Happy Friday. Please share so that others will come and join. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How has the week been for you? Let me close these out. How have you been? How has the week been for you? Please feel free to introduce yourselves to me. I would love to know where you're watching me from. Please, Facebook, let me know if you can hear me, if we are good to go, if we are set. You can hear me, you can see me. I hope you're doing well. How has the week been? Is the fear and panic in immigration coming down? I think maybe Mr. Trump has done enough already. How are you all feeling? Are you settled in your emotions? Are you settled in everything as far as immigration is concerned? I would love to know where you're watching me from. So let's get interactive. I hope you're doing well. Please share so that others would join. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube, and we are live on TikTok. TikTok is just my favorite place to be, really. All right, thanks for letting me know, Eric. TikTok is just my favorite place to be. You know, unlike Facebook and Instagram, where they're a bit, TikTok is just the way to go. I love my TikTokers. Please share so that others will join. We'll be discussing everybody's favorite today, marriage-based green card. It's just the way to go, I guess, at this point. How are you doing? Let me know where you're watching me from. Let's utilize the comment section. Hashtag immigrant brave. Please share so that others would join. Let me know where you're watching me from. I love that. Hashtag immigrant brave. Today we'll be discussing marriage-based green card. I think it's everybody's favorite. Let me know where you're watching me from. Let's see. Please share. It's another Friday. You know, we come here on Fridays to please share so that others will join. Lawyer Kusiawu brutal. Hey, you. Thank you. Okinoba. I hope you're doing well. I owe you something, eh? I owe you something. I have to send it. I haven't forgotten. I tend to be adding more to my to-do list than to be taking, to be scratching some off. So you're going to get it. Please share so that others will join. Please share so that others will join. Let me know where you're watching me from. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are we settled in President Trump's immigration brouhaha and all that he was doing? I think we are much settled now, aren't we? I believe so. I have been settled from day one because I remember clearly that I posted a video. I made a video and then my team posted it on our TikTok. And it was even pinned to our Instagram, where we made the questions have started trickling in, where we made educative guesses on what President Trump was going to do. And I mean, I picked my notes day after day, and I'm just checking it off because we knew exactly what he was going to do. He told us what he was going to do. He didn't lie. He didn't hide the ball. And so we are prepared for whatever he brings. We are prepared legally, mentally, emotionally. We are prepared for whatever President Trump 2.0. It's like, bring it on. We're good because we made the educative guess. We knew exactly what he was going to do. And so there's nothing surprising. Please share. Please share. Let me know where you're watching me from. I would love to know where you're watching me from. And possibly, please let me know your name. Okay. Let me know your name so that when you call me, you don't say, oh, I was a lady on TikTok, because you hid your name and you didn't. Some people call it, oh, I watched your live stream. I'm the guy who asked this question. Oftentimes, many people ask the same question, so that won't be enough. But if you tell me your name, I think I have a good memory. I'm going to definitely remember. Desmond from Texas. That's nice. Thank you for joining. I hope you're doing well. How's the week been for you? See, this is my TikTok people. They started asking questions. I'll take the questions. I promise I will. But like I always say, please make sure that your question is in just one line. If you type it in bits and pieces, I would lose it, and I don't want to lose any question. So please feel free, and then just okay, Desmond from Texas. Let's see. Who's here on TikTok? Oh, it's okay so far. Good. I've had a great day. So this week at AB Legal Consult, we got some approvals. We have to put them together and then put it on our social media pages. We got 3 approvals for our clients. 2 work authorization approved for our clients. 2 EB2 national interest waiver approvals as well, right? So no matter what is going on in immigration, in the world of immigration, there are great things happening for us here at AB Legal Consult. And that's why you have to retain our services. So we represent you with a custom-based approach tailored to meet your specific immigration needs. So let me know where you're watching me from. I know someone is watching me from Texas. Hey, is your name Ralph or Ralph? I like the name R square, right? Okay, let's see. TikTok. Let's see. I see Annette, Andrea. Is it Sabina or Sabina? I have a friend called Sabina, so I don't know how you say yours. So pardon me if I get it wrong. I see Josephine. Okay, great. Yes, I've seen a question on VAWA. I'm going to take questions. Please share. Let me know where you're watching me from, and we're going to kickstart in a second. So remember, we do have our WhatsApp group page. We have a WhatsApp group, AB Legal WhatsApp group. Lots of questions, lots of incredible people there. We have so much fun there. In our group page, the WhatsApp group page, we are immigrant. We do not judge. We listen, we provide answers, and we do not judge. We don't judge anyone on that platform. Unlike other WhatsApp group page, our group page, our WhatsApp platform page. Oh, you're watching me from California, and your name is Wife? That's not your name. But thank you for joining. Yes, so listen. Oh, how can you join? Is any member of my team here? Someone is asking how they can join the WhatsApp group page. So please share that. It's actually on our Facebook page. We posted on our Facebook page, so you should be able to join. But if any member of my team is here, please share the WhatsApp group page so that other people can join, because we are just about to take off and we're going to have a blast. Please share Facebook, YouTube. You can share as well. And then we are going to dive. Oh, good afternoon. Yes. Thank you for joining. Please share. Okay, so we will be discussing the marriage-based green card. If you followed me for a while, I keep telling you all that Put yourselves, oh, you're watching all, oh, Rita, my girl. Yeah, good to see you. Rita is my favorite girl now. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Um, I keep saying put yourselves on the dating market. Make sure that you can establish that you got into the marriage not for the sole purpose of immigration benefits, but really truly you went in on a good faith basis, which is extremely important. Okay. And how can you do that? It's basically the evidence, evidence, evidence. Immigration is evidence based. So long before you are invited to attend an interview, your filing packets, your forms, the pieces of evidence that you submit to the USCIS will be doing the talking for you. And so if your evidence is relevant, is credible, and is just good enough, and it doesn't contradict any other information you have provided to the National Visa Center, or any other information you have provided to any federal agency, then you should be good. One of the things that we see happening in Trump 2.0 is lots of interview. So the processing rate is going to be fairly slow, right? It's going to be way slow than the years before, previous years, really, because we know that, and I made that educated guess as well. Processing rates very slow. Already, USCIS always has a backlog. They always do have a backlog, right? The level of fraud detection is going to be high. So if you recall, Trump 1.0 during his first term in office, fraud detection, marriage fraud detection, so high, and so the evidence you provide to the USCI is extremely important. If you don't, I say it all the time, if you don't remember the information you provided when you were trying to secure your visa, there are ways to get them. And we are going to be discussing all that. So let's dive right into it. Okay, okay. Someone is watching us from New York. We have Ghana in the building. That's good. So please type in hashtag immigrants brave. Hashtag immigrant brave. Immigrants are brave. We are strong. We can weather the storm. Listen, we didn't come all the way from abroad to be timid people, right? We are stronger than they know. And we are going to be just fine. So I'll take the questions later. I've seen lots of questions trickling in. I'll take all the questions later. Okay, so let's dive right into it. Marriage-based green card eligibility. Before you can even file the marriage-based green card, you want to make sure that your marriage is legally valid. Okay, your marriage is legally valid. How do you determine that your marriage is legally valid? The USCIS, or the US, is going to potentially recognize a marriage that was valid in the country within which the marriage occurred. So if you got married in Venezuela and the Venezuela government would acknowledge that marriage to be legal or to be legally valid, then the US is going to do the same. Okay, so long as the marriage is valid in the country within which the marriage occurred, then the USCIS is definitely going to recognize the marriage to be legally valid. You must also get married to a US citizen or a lawful permanent resident. If you have followed me for a while, you know that I always say that you're better off getting married to a US citizen, because if you do marry a legal permanent resident, then the whole waiting for a visa to become available to you comes to play. Priority date. When you get married to a lawful permanent resident, a visa is not immediately available for you. But when you get married to a US citizen, so let me throw this out there. I'm not saying just go and marry. You should be able to establish that your marriage is bona fide. Okay. It's not enough to just get married. I don't care how you meet your spouse. I don't care how you go about it. You should be able to demonstrate that your marriage is bona fide. So if you get married to a US citizen, priority date is always current. That means that you can adjust your status immediately after the I-130 approval, or you can file concurrently. If you do marry a legal permanent resident, that is not the case. We'll dive into that. Okay. So, yes. So, for the lady who was asking for the WhatsApp platform or our WhatsApp group page, it has been posted. So, please feel free to join. I'll be answering questions there. I think I'm much more interactive on that one than the other WhatsApp platforms that I find myself in. So, your marriage must be legally valid. That's the first one. Marriage to a U.S. citizen over marriage to a lawful permanent resident. I think I've given you the main difference. If you get married to a U.S. citizen, the priority dates or priority is given to a citizen over a lawful permanent resident. And so when you marry a lawful permanent resident, you have to wait for a visa to become available, meaning that you cannot file concurrently. You won't be able to adjust your status immediately after you receive the approval for your I-130. The marriage must be legitimate. How do you demonstrate that your marriage is legitimate? Basically, think about your marriage being bona fide. I mentioned that earlier, that you have to enter into that marriage on a good faith basis. Okay, good faith basis is extremely important. You don't get into your marriage for the sole purpose of getting a green card. Okay, you don't get into your marriage just to benefit just to get immigration benefits. If USCIS detects that, then your marriage basically is a sham marriage. And the only way to do that is the pieces of evidence that you put together. How do you prove that your marriage is bona fide? How do you prove that you entered into the marriage that you are in on a good faith basis? Evidence, 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 evidence. I love immigration. I love immigration so much. It's evidence-based. Long before you appear for an interview, the pieces of evidence you have submitted is speaking for you. It's going to do the work for you. So your evidence must be authentic, it must be relevant, it must be credible. It cannot contradict any other information that you've given to the National Visa Center already. Okay. So how do we prove that your marriage is bona fide? Number one, you really need a marriage certificate. You cannot get married without a marriage certificate. So you need a marriage certificate. You need to establish evidence of financial ties. How do you do that? What pieces of evidence do you submit to demonstrate financial ties? Joint bank accounts. Okay, it's extremely important. Do not go to the bank. Don't walk into a bank, or just don't go online, open an account together, and then just submit it to the USCIS as evidence of financial ties. That is a recipe for disaster. The joint account that you submit to the USCIS must have active transactions in there. So this is what I tell my clients all the time. If you're getting married to a US citizen, then chances are the US citizen has a bank account. Depending on the number of years the citizen has been in the country, whether the person was born here or the person naturalized to become a US citizen, the person would have a bank account which would show a history of active transaction. Okay. And so what I tell my clients is that we are going to put you on that account. Now, if you came into the country on a B1, B2, technically you're not supposed to work. And so if you do have a bank account, and then the bank account, upon looking through the transactions, we see that there's a check coming in bi-weekly from an organization, from an institution, from an employer, that can easily tell that you are working in the United States. You have violated the purpose of your visa. You have violated an immigration law, because the visa that you have does not permit you to work in the United States. And so if you're working with an attorney, you also want to work with an attorney who has, one, the lived experience, who knows the law, who knows what evidence is relevant. Because there are pieces of evidence that when you submit to the USCIS, you're going to get a knock at your door. you're going to be invited for interviews upon interviews. So your first interview is likely to be just you and your spouse in the same room. But then the moment the officer begins to suspect foul play, then that is when you'll be invited and then separated, right? And that can be a problem. Melissa, I'll get to you. I saw your message in our Instagram inbox. I'll get to you. Okay. So evidence of financial ties, extremely important. Okay. If you're from Africa, or if you're, I mean, anywhere, no, I'm saying Africa because I'm from Africa. But if you're from abroad and then you have properties that you can, I mean, it to demonstrate, right, that you have all these financial ties together, you can put each other on your properties back home. Which is extremely important as well. Okay. If you have any investments, joint insurance, all these pieces of evidence would help you demonstrate financial ties. There's also the evidence of shared residence. How do you even demonstrate a shared residence? Your lease. If you were in our webinar on Wednesday, you probably heard me discuss a client who literally put his spouse's name on the lease agreement when the spouse really didn't live there. Most immigrants do that. The USCIS officer so this client is currently in removal proceedings. So this client worked with another attorney, and then when the case literally dismantled or the cookie began to crumble, he was referred to us here. And upon reviewing the evidence that they submitted to the USCIS, you could readily tell that the lease was it was a forged document. And so what I tell my clients all the time and what I think you should do is that it doesn't hurt to pay a couple of extra dollars to get your spouse's name on the lease. Okay. It doesn't hurt to do that, because I have seen USCIS officers walk to apartment complex leasing offices to inquire whether the lease that has been submitted to them is really credible. Okay. And so they would request for the actual copy. Remember that you're giving them a photocopy. You never give original documents or to the USCIS. So we always give them copies of whatever pieces of evidence you're submitting to the USCIS. And so this officer walked in there and then requests for a copy of the lease agreement. Lo and behold, the spouse's name was not on the lease. And that was a problem. It was at that point that when it happens like that, when an officer begins to review your filing packet, and then they detect one inconsistent statement, or they see an evidence that is suspicious, then they slow down. Remember that they are always backlogged. They're rushing through these petitions quickly so they can jump. They always have a quota to meet, right? And so they are reviewing these packets with the speed of light. And then the moment they detect a mistake, then it kind of slows them down. And that will give them reason to look out for other inconsistent evidence or other mistakes in the form. And so that's exactly what happened to this guy. And he's currently in removal proceedings, and our firm is representing him in that. So evidence of shared residence. It doesn't hurt to walk to your leasing office and then get your leasing officer to put your spouse's name on the lease and pay a couple of $100s and be free. Just in case USCIS shows up in the leasing office, you are good. There's nothing fearful, right? There's nothing to keep you awake at night, because you know that you have whatever you have given them. It's credible. It's authentic. And so evidence of shared residence, you're looking at your lease. Now, there are times where you get married to someone and the person has already purchased their property, so they have a mortgage. They can add you, okay? They can add your name to the mortgage. Now, in events that they are unable to, you can always put a statement together. We do that here at AB Legal Consult. We put a statement together documenting the timeline of the marriage and then the timeline within which the mortgage was purchased, right? And so the officer reviewing the petition would see that the spouse, whether petitioner or beneficiary, oftentimes is the principal applicant, right? Who has the mortgage because they have been here the longest. And I'm not saying that the beneficiary spouse can not purchase a property. That's not what I'm saying, but I'm just making an example. And so the petitioning spouse has a mortgage. So we put a statement together and we draw the timeline for the officer. We try to make the work easier. So the officer is not trying to figure out the timeline because that also slows them down. And so we put a statement together and we get a statement notarized. And what we do is we give them the timeline. So we provide a timeline of when the mortgage was, when the principal applicant did get the mortgage or purchase or became a homeowner, and then when the marriage occurred. And so it is only reasonable that the beneficiary spouse's name is not on the mortgage. But what other evidence can we give to the USCIS officer for them to know that really, truly, this couple have evidence or they're able to demonstrate shared residence? That's where utilities come in. And so if your spouse, the principal applicant or the petitioning spouse already has a mortgage, is there a way that we can put the beneficiary spouse on the utilities? Can we put their names on the utilities? Absolutely, because that would also help demonstrate evidence of shared residence versus just sending the mortgage to the officer and then getting the officer to figure the timelines. That kind of slows the officer down to, review the whole packet and then look out for some mistakes or inconsistencies. And so evidence of shared residence, lease, mortgage, utility bills, extremely important. If the principal applicant has a mortgage, then beneficiary spouse, we can get you on the utility bills. Evidence of shared experiences, extremely important. Think about your photos, the photos that you share. In this day and age, everybody has a phone. And most of the phones that we use, they all have cameras, right? It doesn't matter the quality of the picture. It's all in capturing the experiences. And at this point, I'll say be on the lookout for selfies. If you're really truly married, all your pictures cannot be selfies. You cannot have selfies in the house, selfies everywhere. You should be able to have full pictures, right? You know how we attend social events and we hand our phones over to people to take photos of us. That is what you want to think about. Those are the pieces of evidence in terms of shared experiences that you want to submit to the USCIS. I have had someone referred a client to me, and the basis of the dinner. So I think the starting point was just the selfies they submitted to the USCIS. And then they were invited. And then the officer asked them, why are all your pictures selfies? And then the couple said that they don't go out often, which is ridiculous, right? That you don't go out, you don't go to church, you don't attend, you don't even go to the grocery store, you don't go to the restaurant. That is a problem. And so after the interview, the officer then began to dig deeper. And then he found a whole lot of evidence against them, right? So that's where the fraud detection comes in. And then they were charged for fraud. So your selfies, please, it's okay to have, if you're submitting 10 pictures, it's okay to have about 2 selfies in there. But if you give them 8 selfies, that's a problem. So evidence of shared experience, your photos cannot be selfies. Blend it up, switch it up. 1 or 2 selfies is fine. But if you're submitting 10 photos, 8 cannot be selfies. Now, if both of you live in different states, right? Gone were the days where we write letters to our boyfriends and our girlfriends and our spouses, especially in this day and age where you can just text, you can just send a text message to your spouse. So let's say both of you live in different states. When you think about immigration, think about real world. Okay, it's possible that you can be married to your spouse, but then you work in Georgia, and then your spouse works in Florida, or your spouse works in Texas. That is okay. That happens. It's only the evidence that you really want to consider the pieces of evidence that you submit. So, evidence of shared experience. Maybe your text messages, right? Your text message. I have filed a petition for a couple that lived in two different states, and we gave them evidence of the text messages they exchanged. It's extremely important. And then we put each other on their lease. So one had a lease in state A, the other had a lease in state B, and then we just got their names on the separate lease agreement that they had. And we also documented the fact that each of them have a key to each other's property or each other's apartment, which is also very important. So it's not as though both of you must physically be in the same space. It doesn't work like that all the time. In real life world, it doesn't work like that all the time. And so the pieces of evidence that you submit are extremely important. Your emails, that is, if you exchange emails, people will text their spouses, then take their time to send emails. I am an email person. I love to send emails. I check my emails more than I do check my text message and my WhatsApp. So I have so many people complaining that I haven't responded to their messages, and that is why. I'm an email person over a text message person. And so if I were to be petitioning for my spouse, then I'm sure we'll have tons of evidence of emails. You also want to think about your text messages, right? And so evidence of shared experiences, that's also one piece of evidence that you can submit. And then receipt of gifts. Hint, 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 hint. If you're yet to file for immigration benefit, please evidence of receipt of gifts. I think next week is Val's Day. If you're going to purchase a gift for your spouse, keep receipts of them. They are all pieces of evidence that you can submit to the USCIS as evidence of shared experiences. So now that we have been able to discuss the eligibility, and then the fact that your marriage must be legitimate, and the pieces of evidence that you must submit to show that you're in a bona fide marriage, what does the whole application process entail? What petitions do you even need to submit? And what are the timelines? If you can still hear me, please let me know you can hear me. Be nice to me. I hope you're sharing so that others can join and learn. Let's see. Okay, someone says good afternoon. It's actually good evening here. So good evening, sir. I hope you're doing well. Let me know where you're watching me from. If you can hear me, please put in hashtag immigrant brave, hashtag, and share so that others will join. As you do that, please follow our social media pages, AB Legal Consults, across all social media platforms. And then we also have, I just mentioned that, the WhatsApp group page. It's a fun place to be, actually. Yeah, R Square, thank you for letting me know. It's a fun place to be. Our WhatsApp group page is just amazing. We listen, we are immigrants, we listen, and we do not judge. We don't judge anyone there. And guess what? Everyone on that page gets a discount. So that's a reason why you should, that's one main reason why you should actually join. You have access to me. I am the one who operates the page. I'm the one who responds to the messages. Any legal question that you ask, I am the one who's going to respond to it. It's not my paralegal, it's not my associate. My social media team, I think I have 2 of them there, but all they do is to add people and then they post in the flyers. But with every legal question that you ask on that platform, I am the one going to respond. And I keep getting, oh yeah, of course, I'm Ghanaian. My name is Akosia, I'm Ghanaian. Yes, Moon. I like your name. I don't know how you're called Moon, but that's a very nice name. So being part of the WhatsApp group page, listen, we don't judge. We are immigrants, we understand. And so we don't judge anyone. Even when you type with your feet, I will understand. Because chances are, I have literally walked the path that you find yourself in. And so I totally understand where you are and how you feel. Okay. So please, please, please join the WhatsApp group page. We listen, we don't judge. You have access to me. And then you get discounts as well. Okay. All right. So how do you apply? How do you apply after we have determined that um you're eligible for the marriage-based green card and that your marriage is legitimate, and then we are able to demonstrate that you entered the marriage on a good faith basis and not for the sole purpose of getting an immigration benefit? What is the starting point? What do you do? The main form that you want to submit to the USCI is to establish your marriage to your whether the petitioner or the spouse, just to establish your marriage, is the form I-130. That is the first form that you need to submit to the USCIS. Remember that if you get married to a US citizen, you can file form I-130. You can file that form and then the adjustment of status, which will get you the green card concurrently. That is one of the main benefits of getting married to a US citizen. If you get married to a green card holder, you wouldn't be able to file concurrently. You have to wait for your priority date to become current. And when you think about the priority date, you're looking at the visa bulletin. I think it's one of the things I'll be doing. I'll be discussing one of these days. The visa bulletin is extremely confusing. It even confuses immigration attorneys. It's extremely confusing. Priority date, visa bulletin, how to even explain it. I literally had to sit down and study it like I was studying for the bar for me to understand what the whole visa bulletin is about. And one of these days, I'm going to talk about that, or I'll probably put a video together to explain the visa bulletin. So if you do marry a lawful permanent resident, you won't be able to adjust your status immediately. You have to wait for a visa to become available to you. But if you do marry a US citizen, boy, oh boy, you can adjust your status immediately. You can actually file concurrently. So the first form to submit to the USCIS is the form I-130. You cannot just submit the form. You have to fill it properly. It's extremely important that you fill the form properly, else it's going to be rejected. And what does that mean? That means that it's going to be delayed. The whole process is going to it's going to be delayed, right? Because you made a mistake. I highly recommend that you retain the services of an attorney so that the attorney can help you represent you, okay? Because anything can happen. I've seen people fill these forms themselves because they thought it was just a very basic form. They can download it and fill it. One of the things that I have seen happen all the time is in regards to the date. Okay, there are certain countries that write day, month, year. US writes month, day, year. So think about your age. If you flip it around, it's an inconsistent information that you have given, right? Looking at what is on your birth certificate and what you have put in there. And so there are little nuances when it comes to I'm sorry, the office line is going off. There are little nuances when it comes to the form I-130. And so you want to make sure that the form that you are submitting, you have really, truly, please let me put this one on mute. Okay, so you have provided the accurate information. It is very simple to think that these are forms that you can download and fill. I highly recommend that you retain the services of an attorney to help you do that. So the main form that you're going to submit is the form I-130. Make sure that you add enough evidence to establish your marriage, right? And for the form I-130 is the petitioning spouse that is literally filling that form for the beneficiary spouse. So you want to think about your marriage certificate, proof of US citizenship by the petitioning spouse, pictures, the basic evidence that we spoke about, evidence of financial ties, evidence of shared experience, evidence of shared residence, photos. Now, like I said, what is it called? Valentine is here. Evidence of shared experiences. Whatever gifts you decide to buy for your spouse, please keep the receipt. You can add it to the piece of evidence that you are submitting to the USCIS. So the first form to submit to the USCIS is Form I-130 to establish the relationship that you have with your spouse. Okay, so once that is done, if you're getting married to a US citizen, like I said, you file concurrently. Which other form can you add to the Form I-130? It's going to be the adjustment of status, and it's also going to be the work authorization form. So let's discuss the adjustment of status for a second. For the adjustment of status, it is the beneficiary spouse that is filling that form. Okay, beneficiary spouse is filling the adjustment of status. The beneficiary spouse is adjusting his or her status from a non-immigrant visa category to a green card. So from B1, B2 to a green card, from F1 to a green card, from L1 to a green card, from F2 to a green card. So you're adjusting your status from one non-immigrant visa to a green card. That is the adjustment of status. And so with that form, some of the pieces of evidence that you must provide: your birth certificate, your immigration history, how did you even come to the country, your Form I-94, which is on the internet. You just have to put in your details of your passport, and then you pull that up. I highly recommend that you work with an attorney to help you put that together. So you can only file for an adjustment of status if you're physically present in the United States. Okay, if you're physically present in the United States, is the only time you can file an adjustment of status. If your beneficiary spouse is not here, that is the person you are filing for, is not in the country, is not physically present in the country, then the beneficiary spouse is going to undergo what we call the consular processing, because he or she is not physically present here. And so I-130 goes to the USCIS. I-485, if the beneficiary spouse is here in the US, also goes to the USCIS. But if the beneficiary spouse is not physically present in the United States, then it's going to go to the National Visa Center, an agency at the State Department that handles all consular activities abroad. So beneficiary spouse physically here is going to undergo the adjustment of status route, where we are going to put together the Form I-485. That's what it's called, the Form I-485, submitted to the USCIS. But if they are not here, then it's going to go through the consular processing. Okay. With adjustments of status, aside the birth certificates and then your travel records, which is your passport and then your I-94, what other evidence do you have to submit? Previously, it wasn't mandatory to add your immigration medicals to the petition. But what we have done, even before the USCIS made it mandatory, is that we added everything. Anyone here who has worked with us will tell you that we collect everything. We dump all things evidence for your case into the sink, submitted to the USCIS. Now it is mandatory. We did that because it was a strategy we used to avoid being invited to attend interviews. And so for all our clients who worked with us before the USCIS mandated that we add the medical records to it, we gave them the medical records anyway. We gave them everything. We also gave them their story, right? Their love story. That's what we call it, the love story. How did they meet? Because these are some of the questions that you're going to be asked when you're invited to attend an interview. And so we provide all those details, and then we skipped the whole interview process. Now it is mandatory that you add medicals to it. However, President Trump 2.0, is literally requesting that interviews be conducted again. So it matters not whether you add your medicals to it or not. Chances are you will be invited to attend an interview. and we're going to be discussing some of the questions that will be asked, and my recommendation on how to answer some of the questions when you're invited to attend the interview. So you're going to add your travel history, that is to adjustment of status, your travel history, which is your passport and your I-94, your Form I-94, medicals. And then oftentimes you have to get a sponsor, right? Well, it's mandatory that you get a sponsor, but if your sponsor's income is not enough, then you need a co-sponsor. Now, I won't be able to throw out any number in there because it all depends on the number of people in the family, the household, right? The number of people in the household. But if the income is not enough, an immigration attorney is going to let you know that based on the number of people in the household and then the income, it's not enough, and so we need a co-sponsor. If you're undergoing the consular process, and it's basically the same, you need a sponsor. If the sponsor's income, and most of the time, the main sponsor is the petitioning spouse. So if your spouse is here and then you are abroad, who is going to be your sponsor is the petitioning spouse. Same is true if you're physically present here, is the petitioning spouse. But if the income is not enough, then you need a joint sponsor or a co-sponsor. And so it's going to be the same for the consular processing. Now, with the consular processing, you also need medicals and then police reports, okay? You need medicals, you need police reports to show that you're a person of good moral character. So all these pieces of evidence will be uploaded in the National Visa Center's database. You receive unique numbers, which is going to be the invoice number and then the case number, and that is what you're going to use to access the portal that will be sent to you. You're actually going to receive a notice, an email to let you know that this is your case number, this is your invoice number, and so you complete the process. It's the same as being here, except that is called the consular processing. And if you're physically here or you're present here in the United States, then that is the adjustment of status. So with that consular processing, there's also fees, just like you do it here if you're physically present here. So once you submit all the pieces of evidence, then you wait to be invited to attend an interview. With the adjustment of status, same with the consular processing. Remember, adjustment of status is you're physically here. After you have submitted everything to the USCIS, you may be invited to attend an interview. Now, let's discuss some of the questions that can be asked in an interview. So if you really truly are married to your spouse, like you have submitted to the USCIS, there are certain things that you have to know about your spouse, okay? Whether your spouse has kids. So if your spouse have children, you should know the number of children that your spouse really have, possibly their names and their date of birth, okay? Now, if you also say that you physically live with your spouse and you submitted a lease agreement, then you should be able to tell who woke up first. So some of the questions that you're going to be asked is who woke up first, who went to bed first last night, or who went to bed first yesterday, who woke up first today, what did you have for breakfast? They are basic questions. Some of the questions are ridiculous though. I remember an officer asking, what is the color of your spouse's toothbrush? I am not married to my spouse checking the color of his toothbrush. And so that can be difficult, right? But I tell people all the time, I tell my clients all the time that it's how you answer the question. It is really how you answer the question. I think we did attend an interview for a client who had just, I think Super Bowl had just ended. And I told them that, yeah, well, you can be questioned, you can be asked about, did you guys watch the Super Bowl? How was the experience? And all that good stuff. And really, truly, the officer asked that question. But what I tell my clients all the time is that they're not only listening to you, they're also watching you. They're also watching how you answer the questions. They want to see the authenticity. They want to see whether you're being genuine, whether you really even have a chemistry. And I'm not saying go and fake it. You don't have to fake it. Just be yourself. So, toothbrush, the color of my spouse's toothbrush, officer, that is ridiculous, right? But there's a way that you can answer the question. There's a way that you can answer the question that would not raise any eyebrow if you don't remember. If you don't remember, you don't remember. So, what is the color of your spouse's toothbrush? Oh my God, officer, I cannot remember. Of all the things I have to think about, I can't think about the color. It is how you answer the question. Okay. What is your spouse's date of birth? Listen, I know people that simply do not keep dates. It's not because they are not in a bona fide marriage, but as much as possible, you should be able to remember for the purpose of the interview. Even if you are not someone who keep numbers or who keep dates in your mind and all that good stuff, even if you're not that kind of person, it's extremely important that for the purpose of the interview, you remember. Now, if you don't, it's all in how you answer the question. Oh my God, officer, I have issues with dates. It's your birthday date in April, something. You just have to be, the officer is not your friend, but you have to be organic, you have to be authentic versus what is the date of birth of your spouse, and you're literally, fidgeting, or you're shaking, or your feet is wobbling and you're sweating. That will give you away. That will not help you. And so it's extremely important that your attorney, I prep my clients. We know the questions. We don't know all the questions that they ask, but we have an idea. And so we prep our clients on how to answer some of these questions. Okay. If you don't remember, you don't remember. You don't need to make an A to pass an exam, but it's all in how you answer the questions. It's all in how you articulate it. It's in your body language. It's in your gesture. It's in how authentic you are. And so these are the things you want to look out for when you attend an interview. Now, there are times the first interview does not go well. It has not happened to me before, but for clients that have been referred to me, when the first interview does not go well, you are separated for the second interview, and the level of scrutiny for the second interview is something else that I'm thinking of a very polite and mature word to use, but it's not coming. The second interview is treacherous. Okay. It's an interview that you don't want to be there. And so as much as you can, make sure that your first interview, you ace it. It goes well. Know your spouse. Know the basic things your spouse likes. Know who woke up first. What are the day-to-day activities? What time does your spouse go out for work? What time does he come in? There's no way that you don't know your spouse's phone number. There's just no way. There's simply no way. Quick story. I attended a citizenship interview with a client of mine, and she was asked the number. They asked of her number. The officer asked of her number, and she couldn't even tell. Ordinarily, that is not a question to be asked during a citizenship interview, but the officer realized that basic questions like who is the president of the United States, and my clients cannot answer. So once you're asked certain questions and you're unable to answer, it may appear as though the questions are basic or very simple. And these are questions you should know. But it's not just, okay, what is your spouse's date of birth? Oh, November 22nd, da, 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 da. It's as though you've chewed it, right? You've memorized it. I just used chew, typical Ghanaian. You've memorized it. But these are things that should come natural to you. These are things, if you're married to someone who has kids, you should know their names offhand. You should know their date of birth offhand. But a question like the color of, I remember an officer asking one of my clients, what is the color of your bathroom walls? Come on, of all the things that we need to think about, but it's in how you answer the question. It's really not your inability to answer the question. It's in your body language. Everything else aside what you say, or everything else including what you say. Okay, so these are some of the questions that you would be asked during an interview. And it's the same with consular processing. So, consular processing, nobody's going to ask you when your spouse wakes up, because your spouse is here in the United States and you are abroad. But it's basically going to be, when did you guys get married? Okay, where does he live? So if you go to, where does your spouse live? Not he per se, it can be a he, it can be a she. So if you're granted the visa and you go to the United States, where are you going? Which states are you going? Which states does your spouse live? These are basic questions that you should know. You can't say you're married to someone and you don't even know where they live. But it will shock you that these are some of the bases for which people are denied. Just because they couldn't answer some of these basic questions. So these are some of the questions that you'll be asked during an interview, whether you are undergoing consular processing or you're undergoing adjustment of status because you're physically here in the United States. Okay, what's the duration of the adjustment of status and consular processing? So the duration as of February 2025, average 9.3 months. Okay, but it all depends on the backlog. It can be sooner, it can be later than that. It all depends on the backlog. And with USCIS going to interview, inviting people to attend interview, I can foresee that is going to be much more slower. But again, it all depends on the backlog. Without the interviews, I had a client who received a green card in 4 months, and I was shocked. I've had someone receive a green card in 5 months, but I also have people whose green cards are still pending, and it's been over a year. It's been over 9 months. It all depends on the backlog. Consular processing, 14.3 months average. Then again, I know people whose petitions are stuck in consular processing for 3 years. So it all depends on the backlog. It all depends on the backlog. One of the last things that I want to discuss for marriage-based green card is fraud detection. Fraud detection. I'm sure you know by now that if your marriage is found to be a sham marriage, meaning that you entered the marriage for the sole purpose of immigration benefits and not on a good faith basis, then your marriage will be deemed as fraudulent. And what is going to happen is that you'll be issued with a denial notice. And then even before you receive a denial notice, you'll be given what we call the intent to deny, notice of intent to deny, where the USCIS will give you the opportunity to prove that your marriage is bona fide. Once you're unable to prove that, then chances are you'll be receiving the notice to appear in immigration court. I don't wish that for anybody, but it happens. And with Trump 2.0, please work with an attorney who understands, who knows the pieces of evidence to submit, the credible evidence and relevant evidence to submit to the USCIS. An attorney who is thorough, very detailed. And in case you are not sure of your immigration history, please tell your attorney. You can always request for them. There's no need to provide inconsistent evidence, okay? If you were married, if you said you were married before you got a visa, and then you come into the US, please, and you're getting married to someone else, make sure that you have proof of a divorce decree. You have proof that all your previous marriages have been terminated. Because whatever information, I would never stop saying this. And these are things I didn't know before. I didn't know when I came to the United States that whatever information that I provided to the National Visa Center when I was trying to get a visa is sitting here waiting for me. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. USCIS, the States Department, CBP, National Visa Center, they are all friends. They are best friends. They are besties, actually. They sleep together. They are in the same bed, right? They are together. They have each other in each other's pocket. And so whatever information you provide to them is waiting for you. So if you say you were married before you came to the United States and you're getting married to someone here, please, please, please make sure that you have evidence of terminated marriage. You have evidence to show that all previous marriages have been terminated. It doesn't matter whether you were married 5 times. You just need evidence to show that all previous marriages have been terminated. Because if you don't have that evidence, it's one of the ways they detect fraud. So if you're previously married and then you're getting married again, then really truly you're getting married for immigration benefit. It means that you didn't enter into the marriage on a good faith basis. And that can be a recipe for disaster. You'll be setting yourself up for removal or deportation. And so make sure that you work with an attorney who is going to check all those details for you. And please do not lie. Do not lie. And by saying do not lie, I'm saying that don't contradict whatever information you provided before. So if you lied, you might as well maintain it. Keep it going. The moment you say, oh, okay, I lied, now I want to tell the truth, you might as well go back home and not come back. So be very mindful whatever information you provide before coming in. And once you provide that information, be very consistent. It's extremely important that you're consistent. Be consistent. Be consistent. I cannot say this enough. Trump 2.0, fraud detection is going to be on the rise. USCIS officers are going to show up at your doors the moment they suspect. They are going to speak to your friends and family. They're going to really check whether you're really truly married, whether your marriage is bona fide, whether you hold yourselves out as a couple, whether you are seen in social events. These are things they are going to do. These are things they did during the first term. And so these are things they're going to do, right? So fraud detection is going to be on the high. Interview. When you're invited to attend an interview, please make sure that your attorney prep you. I prep my clients. I am still going to prep my clients. And anybody who has worked with me knows that, see, it's not even about me. I'm representing your best interest. And so if we have to stay long hours to make sure that you get it, that's what we are going to do. It's extremely important that you're able to answer your questions. You're authentic, you're organic. If you don't know the answer, there are ways to go about it. And these are things that I prep my clients. We literally have a Q&A session before they attend their interviews. Background checks. That's another way that the USCIS is going to detect fraud. Okay, background checks. Whatever you have submitted to them, they are going to check and cross-check to make sure that it is true, it is not a lie. And so that application review for inconsistencies. I have said this, I'm going to say it again. Be extremely mindful that you show consistency. Okay, you maintain consistency. If you lied before coming in, please maintain the lie. If you lied, keep it going. If you didn't lie, please don't start. At the moment you provide inconsistent statement, you're going to be in trouble. And so yes, that is that. At this point, I'm going to take questions. I can't believe that I've spoken for an hour. I love these sessions where I get to teach and impact and share my knowledge with you. So I'm going to take some questions. Okay, people are texting me. I'm on live stream and they're saying I'm watching you on live stream. So how do I respond to your message? Okay. Abuna, please, I'm dropping it now. Hey, okay, I don't understand that. I'm going to take some questions. So if you have any question, please. Okay, Nana Jemaine on Facebook says, what is the appropriate time to call you? Our offices are open from Monday 9 to 6. No, I'm sorry, 9 to 6. Okay, 9 to 6. Latest by 5:30 we are out, but I stay all the time to 6:30, like I'm here now. Monday through to Fridays, Saturdays, no phone calls, Sundays, no phone calls. We don't work over the weekend. I mean, even if you're going to work, we won't be picking phone calls unless those clients that are quite, a couple of my clients find themselves in a critical place, and so they they have me on speed dial. And so for those clients that are watching, I think you already have this information, so we are good to go. But yeah, we are open 9 to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday. Nanajiman, that's the answer. So let's see what's going on TikTok. Please share so that others can join. I hope you have found this session very, very helpful. Oh, like I said, please. So you see, it's very difficult when you send your questions in bits and pieces, like in chunks. I don't know how I won't be able to read that, because after reading one, I have to literally go and find the other. And I don't know how, because they keep going, right? If you have any questions, please feel free to share. We are live on Facebook, and then our YouTube, and of course TikTok. I'm having a blast here. Okay, let's see. Vivian, I called you. I did call you before the live session. Okay, Wisdom President says hi. Hi. I hope you're doing well. Thank you. Okay, wife says my husband has been. Oh, so your name wife is because you're actually married to a husband. I like that. My husband has been waiting for permanent residence for 3 years. They canceled interview 3 times. I would love to talk to you. Please give me a call on Monday, 703-705-9905. Wife, please give me a call. User says, oh, you're simply the best. Watching from Atlanta. Oh, that's my home. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish I knew who you were. Thank you, but thank you for watching all the way from ATL. That's my home. ATL is my home. My heart is in ATL. Okay. Is there a delay in marriage-based green card approval? I think I addressed that already. Within this 4 years, yes, there's going to be lots of delays. You're going to be invited to attend interviews. For those that won't be invited to attend interviews, you're probably putting your last story together. You're giving them everything, and even that, it's likely that you'll be invited to an interview. So please make sure that you work with an attorney that understands. I cannot say this enough. Okay, an attorney that will prep you, that is passionate about what they're doing, that has empathy. And so, me Nyameba. Oh, hi. You have a nice name, Nyameba. Okay, so can I adopt a child 9 years younger than me? I don't know your age. So please let me know your age, okay? Can I put in my paperwork before my husband filed for his 2024 tax with me on him on it? Okay, I think what you're trying to ask is whether you can submit your petition before your husband files his taxes. Yes. So all you need is 3 years of taxes. So if your husband has not filed his 2024, chances are he has filed for his 2023, 2022, and 2021. And depending on the category of visa or the status that you have, technically you shouldn't work. Classic example, B1, B2, you shouldn't work. So I don't know how your husband is going to put you on his tax. So yes, by all means, but it depends on all these factors that I have mentioned. Okay. Nina Mayba, yes, we do. We do asylum as well. Okay, we do. Can a husband sponsor you if he hasn't filed taxes? For how many years haven't your husband filed the taxes? Your husband needs to have filed taxes for 3 years. Okay, 3 years prior to filing for you. And so that is something that you want to consider. And if you need help, if you need any assistance, please give my office a call, 703-705-9905. I mean, I am still here in the office, but I will be leaving as soon as I am done. So I won't pick calls, but please call me on Monday. Please call me on Monday, okay? You're watching from Philly. Yay! Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My husband has been detained. I don't know what will happen. I would love to talk to you, Dominique. 703-705-9905. So on Monday or Tuesday, a video is going to go up on what to do when when your your loved ones or relative is detained. We've put a video together that should go up on Monday or Tuesday. There are things that you have to do. There's a way to locate them. Who do you call? I mean, whom do you call? What do you do when your loved one is detained? So a video is going to go up. Please keep your eyes on our social media pages, okay? But please give me a call, Dominique, 703-705-9905, Monday to Friday. Someone is asking how they can join the WhatsApp group page. It has been shared on our Facebook, so please feel free to join. Like I said, we listen. Everyone on that page is an immigrant. We listen. I mean, we read. We are technically not listening, but we read, we understand, and we don't judge. Okay. And one benefit is you have access to me. I am the one who answers all the questions. It can be a bit overwhelming though, but I just love to interact and impart knowledge and to share. So by all means, please join the WhatsApp. Please join the WhatsApp group page. Okay. Okay. Someone is asking, oh, your name is Travel New York. How long will the green card be approved if it's already been 5 months? So, like I said, it's 9.3 months, but it all depends. It all depends. So remember, if you receive an RFE, then it's going to be longer. Depending on the backlog, it's going to go longer than that. So it all depends. It all depends. It all depends. Okay, you're watching me from New York. Thank you, thank you. Papa Solo. Oh, is that my Papa Solo? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Someone says, good afternoon. Akosia, you're doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. How long can we receive a decision after an interview? So oftentimes it's just 2 weeks. 2 weeks after an interview, you will know. Okay, 2 weeks. You will definitely know. Okay. Phone number again is 703-705-9905. Okay. All right. Do you help with citizenship? Absolutely, we do. Please give us a call, 703-705-9905. Hey, someone says you are the flex lawyer. Oh, wow. Thank you. I don't know what flex mean, but thank you. I would like to think you mean I'm doing a great job, right? Apple user. Thank you. Okay, is it possible to get married and get a green card in 6 months? Listen, I just told you, I had a client receive their green card in 4 months. I was shocked. So it's possible, but it all depends on the backlog. It all depends on the backlog, okay? It all depends on the backlog. Okay, unauthorized work using SSN and married filing is a red flag in USCIS. Okay, it is. Oh, okay, Manuel, the Apple user, Manuel from Missouri. Okay, you're watching me from Missouri. That's nice. Okay. Oh, someone says, hi, mom. I'm not mom. My name is Akosia. Hi, mom. Good afternoon. How about hi, Akosia? Good afternoon. Please, if you get U.S. citizen and you want to marry and she's not working, is it possible? Absolutely. If your spouse is not working and you are the petitioning spouse, it doesn't matter that the beneficiary spouse is not working. It's fine. So remember that depending on the beneficiary spouse visa category, they may or may not be eligible to work. So if they are not working, depending on the circumstances, fine. It all depends on the category of visa that they have. Okay, so that is what we have to check. Please, if any member of my team is here, kindly post the WhatsApp link. Someone is asking for it, but please keep your eye on our social media, especially on Facebook. The link has been posted a few times and it's going to be posted again. Okay, how do you join the WhatsApp group page? Okay, we're going to post it on our We're going to post it on Facebook again. Okay, we're going to post it on Facebook again. What if the court says the marriage was annulled? So the question is, it's in bits and pieces. I can follow through. And so please put your questions in one sentence. It doesn't matter whether it's a long sentence. I prefer it that way so I can answer it than in bits and pieces. That becomes a problem because I'm going to miss it. Okay. Do you help with citizenship application? Yes, we do. 703-705-9905. And please send, you can send us an email to info@ablegalconsults.com. info@ablegalconsults.com. Someone says, thank you. Thank you too. Quite insightful. Thank you. Okay. My husband's visa was approved at the interview, but it says refused on the status. It's been 23 days. I don't understand. Please give me a call. There's more to the story. My father preached a message. There's more to the story. So, S. Rod, that's your name. There's more to the story. I would love to know more so that I can give you an answer. Okay. I won't be able to give you an answer without knowing the circumstance surrounding it. I always like to give people credible information and then accurate answers. And so if the question is not clear and the circumstances surrounding the questioning is, if I don't have the full details or the facts surrounding the question that you are asking me, I don't think I'll be doing a great job if I provided you with an answer, because I really want to be on point with the answer that I give you. So S. Rod, I would love to talk to you and then I'll give you an answer. So please give me a call, 703-705-9905. Okay. Monday to Friday, 9 to 6. Please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. If someone enters the country with a tourist visa and stays, it is easier to get a residence or not. Okay. I guess you mean, is it easier to get a residence or not? So if you have overstayed your tourist visa, I'm sure you know this already. Even if you were granted 5 years of multiple entry, or you get, 5 years of multiple entry, you only have to be here legally for 6 months. And so if you stay in the country on a B1, B2 for more than 6 months, you have overstayed your visa. If an employer decides to sponsor you, you have 180 days of overstay. You can only accumulate 180 days of overstaying your visa. But I'll tell you this, that 180 days is not enough to get an approval if you're doing a non-premium processing. The 180 days, it's enough if you're doing a premium processing employment petition. But if you're not doing an EB1, which requires that the priority date is current, then chances are you would really truly overstay even that 180 days that you have. And so I don't know how you can become a legal resident after you have exhausted the 6 months and then exhausted the 180 days, and an employer sponsors you. That's going to be a problem. So if you have overstayed your B1, B2, please put yourself on the dating market. There's so many people who are single who would love to be in a bona fide marriage. Remember, CAPS, bona fide marriage. Okay, I'm not saying go and marry just for the benefits of immigration or just for the sole benefits of immigration. I'm saying that put yourselves on the dating market and then enter into bona fide marriages. Enter into your marriage on good faith basis so that you can demonstrate that you're in a bona fide marriage with all the pieces of evidence. So there you have it, okay? Oh, someone says you don't see the link. It will be posted. So right after this session, the WhatsApp link will be posted on our Facebook page, okay? Okay. Can a US citizen who is not working file for his spouse? So the US citizen would need a sponsor. Okay. The US citizen would need a sponsor, but they can definitely file for the spouse, so long as they are not barred, right? So there are certain crimes that will bar a person from becoming, from filing for someone, from filing for their spouse. So long as the person is not barred, but if the person is just not working, then by all means, the person can get a sponsor. Because if you're not working, that means taxes and taxes is probably going to be a problem because you probably don't even have income to file taxes. And this person that you're filing for may be a public charge. All right. Because if you're filing for your spouse, one of the things that you want to think about is that you are responsible for your spouse. And that's why you do submit the affidavit of support, basically saying that you're taking financial responsibility of your spouse. And so if your income is not enough or you don't have income at all, then you need a co-sponsor who is going to be responsible, financially responsible for your spouse. And whoever the co-sponsor is basically entering into a contract with the government for a certain number of years to sponsor this person. Now, when you're sponsoring someone, it doesn't mean you're giving the person money. I think we made a video on that. It's please check our social media pages, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, and even TikTok. I think that video was posted there. When you sponsor someone, you're basically entering into an agreement with the government that you're going to be responsible for this person for a period of time. One of the requirements is that you're entering into the agreement until the person becomes a U.S. citizen. Okay, we'll probably reshare that video. So by all means, a US citizen can file for someone. If the person is not working, you just need a co-sponsor. Question is there a backlog with the I-130? There's always a backlog, okay? There's always a backlog. Okay, so it's 6:53. We've passed an hour. And so we would end. There's so many questions. Listen, I want you to join our WhatsApp group page. So over the weekend, we are really going to get busy, but I keep answering questions that come up from time to time. And then there are those that will just send private messages, and that's fine because some people are just not comfortable to put their businesses out there. But like I said, we read, we don't judge because we are immigrants. We understand. And trust me, if you come on there or you call me and you speak with your feet, I understand. If you do sign language, I will understand. Not because I have studied sign language, but I mean that when an immigrant is speaking to an immigrant who has a lived experience, I have the lived experience as an immigrant. I have my own unique immigration story. And so when someone comes to talk to me, I absolutely understand. The work that I do is one that I'm extremely passionate about. Um, Listen, if I had the power, I'll probably bring everybody here so that they experience their American dream. My hope is that I am living my American dream. And so my hope is that I can make it possible for all my clients. Okay. I can make it possible for them to live the American dream. Godfrey, please give me a second. I've seen your message. I'm going to respond in a minute. So, I mean, the ultimate goal is to have empathy, to humanize the work that we do. My team members know this, that I say that the work that we do here, I can't speak for other attorneys, but the work that we do here and the petitions that we submit to the USCIS, they may just be paperwork. There are quite a number of paperworks here that we need to send out. They may just be paperworks, but what I tell my team is that for every petition that you have the privilege to work on, for every client that you have the privilege to represent, I want you to think about the fact that it is more than just a paperwork. So for every work that we do here, it's more than the paperwork. It's another human being. It's another American dream. So the papers, I bump heads with these officers all the time. I just bump heads with them. I'm sure very soon these officers will wonder, who is this lady with a long name, typical local name? I shoot emails, I call them, I request to speak to an officer when the petition is delayed, when something comes that I don't understand. Recently, we filed the EB2 NIW for a client latter part of last year for non-premium processing, and the USCIS issued a request for evidence. And if you know anything going on in immigration now, request for evidence is the thing now. It's as though these officers are not reading the petition, which is fine. I mean, it's technically not fine, but it is what it is, right? And so we received a request for evidence for this client's EB2 NIW, and we took our time to respond. Submitted it to the USCIS, and they didn't even update it that they have received it. But what we also do here is we keep our tracking numbers. Once we are sending the petition out, we scan the receipt, we keep tracking numbers, we send it to clients. Sometimes we keep it in their folder. And so once they come asking for it, we just send it to them. And so we tracked it and we realized that it had been delivered. And for 2 weeks, the USCIS would not update it. And I kept knocking on every door that I possibly could. One email after the other, one phone call after the other. And just yesterday, I got the opportunity to speak to an officer, actually a supervisor. And I said, listen, this thing has been in your custody for over 2 weeks and no one is going to update it. What is going on? And listen, just 2 hours after getting off the phone call, my client receives an approval. And so the work that we do here, we humanize the work that we do because we know that our clients are waiting for their approvals. They are waiting for feedbacks. So we just try to humanize the work that we do because we really, truly understand. We have empathy. It's more than the paperwork. So if you're looking for a team of experts that are going to represent your best interest and that are going to, make sure that you get what you deserve. So for the number of clients that want to file the EB2 NIW, what we do here is the first thing is we ask you to send us your CV. We want to review your CV, evaluate your CV to determine your eligibility. If you are not an eligible candidate, we are not even going to have a consultation session with you. What we can do is that we send an email and we make recommendations. We don't see the need in taking money from you when we know outrightly upon reviewing your CV that you are not an eligible candidate. Okay, that is someone who understands. We are not going to waste your time and we are going to help you build your profile. We have people that are going to help you build your profile. So even if you are not an eligible candidate now, you can become, okay, because we're going to help you build your profile. But yeah, that's the work we do here. And we love, love, love to represent you. I'll take one last question, and that is from Godfrey. So he said that I have a master's and working to get a PhD. Is there a pathway? Okay. So depending on the number of years you have worked, depending on your certification. So clearly with the master's that you have, you qualify as an advanced degree holder. We would love to evaluate your resume or your CV to determine your eligibility for the EB1 or the EB2. Okay. But most importantly, we hope you are not out of status. We hope that you are not near out of status. That is if you're present here in the United States. Because remember, for the EB2, priority date is not current, meaning that after you receive the approval, you would have to wait for some time for us to adjust your status, for your visa to become available for us to adjust your status. Unlike the EB1, once you receive an approval, in fact, you can file the I-140 and then the I-485 concurrently for the EB1. For the EB2, you cannot do that. The EB2 national interest waiver, not just the EB2, the national interest waiver. So Godfrey, yes, please give me a call, 703-705-9905. But I highly recommend that you send your CV to info@ablegalconsult.com for us to evaluate. Okay, 1 year, but you're getting your PhD, right? You're still So I think you should be fine. After your PhD, you have to do OPT, so you have some time. Please send your CV to info@ablegalconsult.com, and we are going to evaluate it. Okay. So it's been, and it's 7 o'clock. Unbelievable. It's been a wonderful time here. I hope that you have learned a few things as far as your marriage-based green card is concerned. Listen, fraud detection is on the rise, and so make sure that if you're retaining an attorney, and I highly recommend that you retain us, you make sure that you're retaining someone who understands, who knows the work, who has a lived experience, who would be able to help you put together relevant evidence. There's no point giving them evidence that is going to set you up. So your evidence must be credible, it must be relevant, and that's that. I've had a good time. I hope you did have a good time too. Please, please, please follow our social media pages. AB Legal Consults across all platforms except TikTok, which is the Immigrant's Attorney. Please follow our pages. Please share our content. We do have webinar on Wednesdays at 5:30. It's a very intimate session, and we get people to ask questions, and we always don't want to go. We have a blast on Wednesday. So please keep an eye. I think the ads are just rolling out. So please subscribe and be a part of it. I think when you become a part of the page, I have put together an immigrant's guide, which I'm hoping to expand. This is just I think it's just a 10-page booklet that would. These are things that I wish I knew before I came to the US or when I relocated to the United States. It has almost everything that you need to know. It's going to help you navigate through the United States, the federal agencies, and all that. And so, and you can only get that if you're part of the people that attend the webinar. So please subscribe to our email list so that you can have access to that. And keep an eye on our social media pages. And thank you for all those that refer clients to us. What's his name? Kwame Alex. I really do appreciate you. Quite a number of your friends have reached out to me. Thank you, thank you. And then Elisha as well. Thank you. Well, he says, greetings, Akosia. Kwame Alex watching from Pittsburgh. Good, great presentation. Keep it up. Thank you. So it's been a pleasure coming your way. I look forward to coming again on Friday. Please feel free to send us an email on the contents that you want to hear, the topics that you want us to discuss. And then any questions that you have. Also, please join our WhatsApp group page. It's fun. It's buzzing. We have fun there. We listen to your stories. We don't judge. And you have access to me. Like I said, I'm the one who responds to the messages. Yes, my team members will post flyers here and there, but I personally respond to all the legal questions. So you have access to me. And of course, you do get a discount for being a part there as well. So enjoy your weekend. Stay safe. Please have your attorney's number on speed dial just in case you're undocumented and you have any criminal records. It means that you are an enforcement priority, and so you can be picked up. So just get power of attorneys done. Okay, if you believe you're an enforcement priority, please contact an attorney. Make sure that you have a power of attorney done, put in place for you, so that in case you are picked up, whatever you have here, your properties, your accounts, everything is secured and is in the right hands, and you have someone that you really truly would love the person to manage your assets and probably liquidate it and then send it to you wherever you be, right? And like I said, when an officer comes, shows up at your door, remember that they need a warrant, not an administrative warrant, but a judicial warrant. I think we've made a video on the difference of that as well. That should go up again next week. So we wish you all the best. Thank you for joining. I've had a wonderful time, and I look forward to doing this again. Feel free to send us questions, info at AB Legal Consult, and if there are any topics that you would love for us to talk about in our next sessions, I beg your pardon, please feel free to share that as well. All there is left to say is enjoy your weekend, stay safe, stay blessed, and we look forward to doing this again on Wednesday in our webinar and on Friday next weekend. Okay? All right. All the best. Good night.